So now that you know how to create a new view, now let's talk about how to get that view to crop the model the way that you expect it to. For the most part, when views are created, all of the settings are set up so that Revit basically tries to guess at what you're wanting to do. And most of the time, the default settings when it creates the view, most of the time, those will be all you need. But I just want to go a little bit more in depth to show you how to further modify it in case you have a specific need. So from our section view, let's maybe just go back to our main floor plan. And you'll notice it has this bar around it. That's called the crop region, that kind of the border of the view. Let's look at our basement plan to see what we've got there. So I don't see the crop region on the basement. And on the roof plan, I don't see it either. So by default, the crop region is not displaying in the new views we created, but it is turned on in the views that were in the template. So the first thing you need to know is how to turn the crop region on so that you can see it, because you can't edit it if you can't see it. So if you go down here in the floor plan view, you'll see this little button. It says hide crop region, and it's got a little light bulb in the corner. So if you click that, it'll turn it off, and you see it disappears from the main screen. And if you click it again, it comes back on. So let's go to our basement floor plan, and let's just click that on, and there you go, you can see it. And then same with the roof plan. Let's click it on. Whoops, wrong button, this one. All right, so now what we want to do is let's stay in the roof plan, and we don't want to display all this other junk around the roof. We just want it nice and tight around the roof. So if you click on the crop region and highlight it, you'll see these little blue dots. And if you pull the blue dot, it'll allow you to move the crop region. So now it's going to crop the view down. So now we just have this nice little crop around here. It's still displaying this section, which we don't need this section, so you can just delete it and click OK. We'll talk about sections a little bit later in more depth. Okay, so now we've got the box, and then we've got our roof. Let's do the same thing with the basement. Now the basement, there's nothing in it yet. So let's go to our 3D view. And let's extend the walls back down. By selecting all the walls, and then the base constraint, we're just going to change it to the basement. So now when we go to the basement view, you can at least see the walls. So the point of this exercise isn't to try to like make a basement or anything. We're just trying to get some views set up. So we're going to go to the basement view. We're going to click the crop region, click and drag a little dot. Click and drag, click and drag, click and drag. So there we go. Now we've got the basement cropped down to where we need it. Now let's do the main floor. So what you're going to find is when we click on the main floor, there's no little dot to move the crop region, which is frustrating for new people because why isn't it there? The reason is because of the template. Because this was a view that was already set up for you, they changed they're kind of advanced settings that are beyond the scope of this class. And there's no way you would know how to fix them except for I just need to show you. So if you click on the crop region, the properties for the crop region come up in the properties panel. And there's a little property called scope box. It's under the extent section. It says scope box. And you just need to click that drop down and click none. And then it will release it for you. Now if you go and click the crop region, the dots are there. And you can click and drag them into place. Like this. And now it's cropped everything in the view. The only thing it didn't crop are these. These are what Revit calls symbols, and symbols don't get cropped. So I'm just going to delete those so that they're not in the view. We'll put those back in later, but I don't like to put them in the view. I like to put them on the sheet. So We'll talk about that in just a minute. Okay, so now we have 3 floor plans that are all cropped the way we want them. So what that did, if you remember back to the lecture, when I showed you what a floor plan is doing when it cuts the model, it cuts it from left to right and front to back. So that's what we just set up. This is the back cut line, this is the front cut line, this is the left cut line, and this is the side cut line. So that leaves 2 more lines that we haven't determined yet, the bottom and the top. By default, the bottom is the same level that your view is associated with. So if this is the basement floor plan, it's cropping at the bottom of the basement. And then the top is just a default value that Revit tries to estimate when you make your view. So to understand what this does, let's go to the roof plan. And you can see in the roof plan, you can see the outline of the bottom of your roof, but you don't see the rest of your roof continuing up. You see it's cut. It's being cut right here. So there's 3 important elements you need to remember about a view. There's the bottom cut plane, which is the level that the view is associated with. So in this case, the roof level. There's the top of the view, which is outside of the page. It's coming out of the screen at you. And that by default is just a certain number of feet above the associated plane. So in this case, the roof. And then there's another one called the cut plane. And that's where it's cutting the model to open it up and look at it. So let me maybe just try to illustrate this for you. If you aren't clicked on anything, you're just in the view and nothing is selected. If you look in the properties panel, it's showing you the properties for the view. So let's look in the view properties. And under extents, there's something called view range. So if you click the view range button, it brings up this little dialog box. And if you're new, it's nice to push this button that says show. And it's trying to show you what I'm talking about. So I'm just going to highlight here. Here's the bottom of your view. Here's the top of your view. And here's what I'm calling the cut plane. So that is associated with like this. So your bottom view, the bottom cut plane, the bottom of the view is right here. See how it says associated level? And then in parentheses, it names the level, the roof level. And then the top is also associated with the roof level, but it's got an offset of 7'6". So the top of this view is 7 feet 6 inches above this roof level right here. And then the cut plane is 4 feet above the roof level. So in order to see the full roof, we need to go do some reconnaissance. So let's click OK, and let's just look at the south elevation. So if you see right now, let's make a new level. Let's copy this level up so that you can see what's happening. So if you remember, it said the top of our view is 7 feet 6 inches above the roof level. So let's make a cut plane that high. So let's add 7.5 feet, 7.5 feet to 9 right here. Or it's easier to just do this, watch. 7'6". Okay, so right now, our view settings, let me shut off everything. Let's go. Okay, so now I just have our elevation and our roof, and I'm going to tile those so we can see both at the same time. So if I click in this view and I look back at the view range, 7'6" above the roof level is where the top of the view is, and the cut plane is at 4 feet. So let's make another level. Copy another level up 4 feet. So this is where it's cutting the roof. And if we look in 3D, let's pull a 3D view so that you can see this visually what's happening. You can go up to the view cube and you can right click on the little house and it says orient to view. And then it says floor plans. Let's pick the roof plan right here and it'll crop that. And now this is showing you exactly what this view is doing. So it's showing you the cut plane and the bottom plane. It's not showing you the top plane. The top plane, as I said, it goes up to here. It goes a little higher, but it is showing you the cut area and the bottom. So watch this. So now, if we want to be able to see the full roof, we need to know how high the roof is. So let's just move that level up. And okay, so 32 feet. So if we were to cut the roof at like 29 feet, 6 inches, well, let's see. So if we were to go up 20 feet, we'd be able to see the whole roof. So let's test that. Let's go over here to our view, our roof plan view, click view range, and we're going to move the top of the view up. Let's move it up 25 feet. Oops. Let me go back in there. So I moved that up to 25 feet, and then let's move the cut plane from 4 feet to 20 feet. And click OK. And now you can see, we can see the full roof. And just to illustrate that again, let's update our 3D model. Let's right click on the home button, orient to view, and then let's go to the roof plan again. And now it will recut it based on our new settings. And you see now here's the cut plane up high above the roof, and there's the bottom of the view. So now you can see what's going on in the roof plan. So I'm just going to close everything back up. So all of that explaining is to simply help you understand if something is not being displayed in your view correctly, it could be the depth of your view is not set right. And the place you go to fix that is over here called the view range. Okay, so now we've set up the roof plan so we can see the full roof. We can see the main floor, and we can see the basement. So now we're all good as far as crops go, but now maybe I don't want to see this crop region anymore. Now that I've set it, I'd like it to disappear because it's distracting. So now we can go in each view and we can turn off the crop region right here down at the bottom. There we go. All right, so that is how, once you've created a view, that's how you crop it down to get it to look the way you want it to, or to at least slice the model the way you want it to slice the model. The next thing we can talk about are just the view graphics. So right now, if you go to the floor plan, you can see that there's windows and doors. This is a very simple plan. So all we can see is windows, doors, we can see the walls, and we can see the floors. And we can even see these reference planes. But let's say we don't want to see the reference planes anymore. And let's say we don't want to see the floor for some reason. You can control everything that's shown in the view with a filter. So if we don't select anything, that means we're over in the properties panel, it's showing you the view properties. So under view properties, there's something called visibility graphics. If you click the edit button, it brings up this dialog box and there's some tabs at the top. The ones that are most important to you are the model categories and the annotation categories. We haven't annotated anything yet, so you can ignore that for now. So we want to look at the model categories. So right now, by default, you can see most things are selected with a checkbox, meaning it will show all of these types of model elements. But if we want to hide the floors, we can scroll down to where it says floors, and we can uncheck that and click apply, and now the floor has disappeared. If we want it back, we can check it and hit apply. The other thing you can do is maybe we want the walls, let's say we want the doors to look differently. So let's go to the door category. Again, you can uncheck it and hit apply, and the doors will disappear, or you can put them back, right? The other thing you can do is you can make them half-toned. If you click this button here, this will make them, instead of being black, it'll be gray. So they aren't as distracting. So let's make them back black again. All right, the other thing you could do is the cut lines, meaning where the doors are being cut, you could give them a different color. So I could say, let's make the doors bright red. Let's see what I did wrong here. Oops. Visibility graphics. It didn't do what I thought it was going to do. Door. Cut lines. Oh, maybe it's all of the lines. Maybe I need to do... I'm not sure. I think this might be a different issue. I might need to look into that. I'm not sure why it's not changing the color. We can look at that at a different time. But what I'm trying to show is you can control what is and is not showing, and the way those things look with the visibility graphics panel that's associated with the view. That will come in handy later. Let's shut off these reference planes. So along those lines, instead of going to the visibility graphics panel, which we could do, we could look up reference planes, which I think reference planes are considered annotations. So let's scroll down to the R's. Reference planes right here. I can uncheck that box and hit apply, and those will disappear. Okay, that's one way of doing it. I'm going to undo that. And another way of doing it is if you click the element that you don't want to see anymore, if you right click on it, there's something called hide in view. And you can hide either just that one item, or you can hide the whole category. So we're going to pick the category, and now it hides all of the reference planes. And all that command did was, now if you go to your visibility graphics and you look at the annotation category and you go down to reference planes, you can see it just unchecked the box. So we're going to check it again and they'll come back. If I just want to hide one of these, I can right click, hide in view, and just do the element. So instead of the whole category, we can just do that one element. So I'm going to undo that. I'm going to right click again. I'm going to hide in view, and I'm going to do the whole category. So now it's no longer showing anymore. And let's do that in the basement as well. Hide the category. And then let's see if it's in the roof. Yes, in the roof. Let's hide the category. Okay, now our views are nice and clean. Look how good they look. Just our model elements are showing up. Okay, so that's our basic lesson on views. The next step is to put them on a sheet and then to print the sheets. So we'll talk about that in the next video.